Alright, hello everyone. Today we're going to be doing another news video on Apex once again. Today's video is going to be covering the meta changes, really, more specifically about 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏. Now I know we do have some 𝗏𝗂𝗁 changes as well, but largely I feel like the changes that they did to 𝗏𝗂𝗁 kind of made him more of an actual character in the game because he just really just was falling off a little bit. And at least now, similar to the 𝗏𝘂𝗁 and Vantage buffs that we had before, now he's actually a bit more a playable character. But similar to the Revenant buffs that we had recently, the 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 buffs now, I feel like these two characters, Revenant and 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏, were already pretty well played. So to me personally, having these characters kind of be pushed in the meta is very artificial. But I'm going to leave this video right here to kind of show you all the new 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 changes.
Here is gameplay of the new 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 buffs coming in Season 26 of Apex Legends. First up, 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 gets a whole new set of perks, starting with her electric smoke. This electrifies her ultimate, which allows it to deal 100 damage to enemy ultimates and destroy enemy tacticals, meaning it's a great counter to caustic traps and rampart walls, and makes for a really good engagement tool. Her other level 2 perk, Cover Me, means that all allies will regenerate HP inside her smoke, and the health regen is much faster than it used to be, and she will auto-ping enemies who trigger her passive as part of this perk as well. Next up, her level 3 perk, 𝗙𝗲𝘁𝗂𝗿𝗄, electrifies her ultimate, which allows it to deal 10 more damage, and it will destroy all enemy deployables, once again a great counter to the controller legends like Ramparts, as it would destroy her turret. And her other level 3 perk, Medal of Honor, gives her faster revives, and it triggers her passive when you're running towards your knocked allies to give you that supportive edge for your teammates. So what do you think of these new 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 changes coming next season?
So I just want to say thank you to Bobs on YouTube for obviously making this video. He did get early access. I also do have early access, but he had it earlier than me. So just wanted to kind of show that off, just to show you the actual changes and the fact that these are just not normal buffs that you normally see in a season where it's like, oh, Octane's jump pad has a cooldown reduction of 30 seconds. Like, it's not like that. These are like completely redefining her abilities. And 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 is already really well played. So that's why it kind of gives me the impression, like I said in the previous video, that the buffs in this game are going in a direction where it feels very artificial. I think it's good how often they are buffing these characters, and I really like that, because then it does make the game feel fresh. The meta is constantly changing. However, I do see the complaints that people are also saying, and myself as well. I am making the complaint that it is so artificial. You can be playing one character one day, and then just because they nerfed that character, and then now, oh, right, 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 now has an EMP as a tactical, it makes some characters just completely redundant. Like, you're not going to be playing Crypto, really, because, you know, his EMP's now useless. 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 can now ping everyone that activates the double time, so you kind of have a Crypto drone in that regard as well. So I really just feel like it's whatever the developers want as the meta, they can just force it, and it doesn't actually leave the players to decide the meta, which what it used to be in the past. So it's like a little bit less of a sandbox kind of experience where the kind of players decide what the meta actually is based on what they have to work with. And now it's just completely in the hands of the developers, which is, I mean, potentially a good thing, but do the developers always know what's right for the game, you know? Like, we've had a 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 meta before, and it's like, I was shouting from the rooftops before, like, when, you know, obviously 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 was meta, before 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 was meta, like, oh, what are you 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 buffs and all this other stuff, and then she finally became meta, and then all of a sudden, now, she's no longer meta because they nerfed her, and now they want to bring her into meta again. It's like, of course, some people say, oh, make up your mind, but obviously that's not the direction that they're going to be going in. They're going in a direction that makes it so each character has a little bit of playtime. But then you see characters like Rampart, and she has had playtime in some aspects, but she's never really been the top dog, you know what I mean? Like, there's been some characters that have been completely cast aside and not really thought about. So it would be nice to see them characters. Like, who really cares about Fuse? You know what I mean? Like, no one's really... Like, I can't remember the last time Fuse was really like a very, very good character to play. Same with Rampart, you know, like, they haven't been at the top. but now Bangalore gets a second go at the top. It doesn't make sense. Same with Revenant. He's on his like second or third time at the top of the charts, I think now. So yeah, I think honestly there needs to be a little bit less of the artificial kind of boosting of characters up and down, and more like gradual incline, as I said in the previous video, of like, okay, we're going to slightly buff Bangalore for this reason and Revenant for this reason, give them a little bit of time to settle in the pick rates, and then the next week or two might buff them again, because we want to enforce this new meta a little bit more, rather than just giving them a sweeping buff that just makes it so everyone else is completely just kind of cast aside, and it's like, oh, this is now Bangalore, you have to play this character because she's now meta, thank you, But I think most importantly, I think we need other characters that are going to be, introduced to the meta. And I think that is the direction that they are going. They just haven't got around to characters like Fuse and Rampart to make like sweeping changes that actually make them at the top spot. I don't think we got around to that yet, but they have been doing that with like Vantage and Watson, and people have been enjoying them. But as always, the characters, I think, just by default, are just not as good as others. But yeah, I would like to hear what you guys think about this, because of course, like, we now actually have the Bangalore changes, and it once again reinstates the exact same thing that I said with the Revenant changes and the other changes before for the Watson and Vantage buffs. It's just like, I would really like to see just a little bit more gradual incline in the buffs, rather than just a complete meta shake-up. It just isn't. I mean, it's exciting because it's someone new to try, and they have like all that, the new kits and everything. But I find it more fun to kind of sit back and go, right, who am I going to play? Rather than just being like, the game just decides for us, Like with the Ash, Ballistic, and Orta reigning supreme like the entire season and like previous seasons as well. Your main was basically picked for you, and with these changes to Bangalore and Revenant and Caustic, it's like they're kind of just doing it again. Like, now they've nerfed them 3 characters, the Ballistic, the Ortas, and the Ashes. Now it's like, right, okay, well, you're going to have to play Bangalore because they've buffed her that much that there's no other option. So it's like your main is already decided. It removes the whole thinking aspect, if you know what I mean. So I hope they do change a little bit of this plan going forward, in my opinion. And the developers already know that like metas that sit around for too long are bad. They came up with a statement saying that as well. And so the Ballistics, the Orta, the Ash meta that we did just recently have was fun, but it did last for too long. And so hopefully they do take that kind of, alright, having like, metas that last for too long is bad, so maybe we should just start gradually adding characters into the meta, take them out very frequently, but make it less artificial. That's the way that I think they should go ahead and do it. Kind of like Overwatch, like we have, if you look at the Overwatch patches, their patches are filled to the brim with changes, and some of them are literally just simple cooldown reductions and cooldown buffs. But then in the next patch after that, then you have bigger changes for some characters, the same characters that were in the previous ones, and you'll kind of see a little bit of a pattern where you start seeing this character starting to become more and more in the meta because they want that character more in the meta, and then other characters are getting nerfed and nerfed and nerfed more and more until they're out of the meta. And so it's kind of like a little bit of a bar graph where you kind of see like the meta and they go up and up, above and down and below, and they're just kind of getting shifted in and out of the meta. But just gradually over time, rather than as we see with Bangalore and Revenant and the rest of them, that just get boosted right in the meta, and then there you go, you have to play them. I don't like that. I don't think many people like that. So hopefully they do change that, and I think that might be the direction that I might be going forward in the future. Hopefully, we'll see though. But yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.